everyone, and welcome to the Week 29 edition of Instant Replay, where I give you my take on the most controversial plays of the weekend. I'm Simon Borg. We start in LA, where I thought the Galaxy had a good shot for a penalty in the 69th minute, as Seattle's Ozzy Alonso basically looks like he shoves Gio Dos Santos to the ground off the ball. And I don't think that's incidental. He essentially runs into him. Referee Armando Villarreal doesn't call it. Seattle, who were leading 2-1 at the time of the incident, go on to win 4-2. The Galaxy did eventually get a penalty in minute 84, and the foul here? Committed by Ozzy Alonso. But I agree with those of you who reached out to us to say you thought it was soft. I actually felt it was Steven Gerrard backing into Ozzy Alonso, not the other way around. Villarreal called it, however, and Robbie Keane got his 10th goal of the season. To RFK Stadium, where I thought DC United's Lucho Acosta should have been sent off in the 30th minute after he brought down Kevin Molino, who was sprinting toward the DC box. That's a yellow card offense to me, and he was already sitting on one by then, but referee Soren Stoica graces him. With a full complement of players, DC would go on to win 4-1, and kudos to assistant referee Mike Roddersman for making a great call on DC's first goal. You see that Patrick Mullins is not offside, thanks to the outstretched leg of Kevin Molino at the top of your screen. DC were already up 3-0 when Orlando were reduced to 10 men in minute 66, as Antonio Nocerino gets a straight red for serious foul play. No question about it. Nocerino with his first red in MLS for driving that elbow into Mullins' chest. Things could have gotten interesting had Orlando and Julio Baptista been awarded a penalty kick with 4 minutes left. You see here DC defender Steve Birnbaum puts his arms on Baptista and really runs the risk, but Baptista goes down a bit too easily for me, just kind of letting his legs go. Stoica wasn't biting. Next up, Avaya Stadium, where San Jose's momentary equalizer came on this goal by Simon Dawkins, served up by this nifty Henok Goitom backheel. Now in real time, it looks like Goitom beats the Sporting defender fair and square to this ball, but we heard from folks who disagree and felt there was a foul, and when we slowed down the angle behind the goal, you see that Goitom nicks Nuno Coelho's leg before he actually gets the ball. That's what causes Coelho to whiff on it, so I think there was a foul, but really difficult to spot for referee Edvin Jurasevich. Now, should the Earthquakes have had a penalty at 1-1 just 2 minutes into the second half? As this corner kick squirts across the box, you see Sean Francis and Kevin Ellis take a tumble at the end of the play, but I don't see anything there. But I'll show you where I did see a foul. Check out how Roger Espinoza has his arms literally wrapped around Chris Wondolowski's waist here, preventing him from making a play on the ball. And you see Wando mouthing the words, "How's that not a foul?" to the assistant. There was a penalty called in Houston, believe it or not, the first of the year for the Dynamo. You see Portland's Liam Ridgewell with his right arm raised, and he blocks the shot by Colin Warner. That's a great call by referee Juan Guzman, who's in perfect position to see it, and Mauro Manotas gets his first of 3 on the night. I thought Portland should have had a penalty of their own just before the end of the first half. You see Fanendo Adi battling against 2 Houston defenders, and one of them, Jalil Anibaba, is totally disinterested in the ball after missing on the header. But he does everything he can to get his legs in front of Adi, first with his left leg, and then flinging his right leg you know where, sending the big man to the deck. By then, the ball was out of the picture, but even so, that's still a foul for me. I think Anibaba would be lucky not to get a red for violent conduct. Shout out to Footy BKB and Matt Swanson for flagging that one to us. We go to Columbus, where things got testy between Crew SC and the Revolution. We start with this 48th minute incident between Tony Tchani and Scott Caldwell. And look how Tchani comes from behind and flings the elbow at Caldwell off the ball. He gets a yellow from referee Chris Penso, but I would have gone straight red. The other big moment in this game came when Crew SC are awarded a penalty in the 82nd minute after London Woodbury is judged to have fouled Crew SC forward Ola Kamara. And Woodbury can't believe the call. But the way it looks to me is that Woodbury plays the man, not the ball, and bumps Kamara in the back. I get that people might call it soft, but it's a foul, and Ola Kamara puts it away to virtually seal the result. And so you can guess it was only a matter of time before tempers flared, and it happened in the 89th minute after this clumsy foul by Scott Caldwell on Ola Kamara, and Caldwell gets a yellow. As for the dust-up, nothing to it, just handbags and no other cards. Well handled by the officiating crew. But worth noting that Ola Kamara runs into Caldwell one last time just as the final whistle blows with a tough foul that I thought could have seen a yellow. Man, these teams don't like each other. Off to Yankee Stadium, where it was already 2-0 NYCFC when Chicago's David Accam was brought down in the box in the 15th minute. But goalkeeper Josh Saunders gets all ball in this tackle, and in my opinion, Accam lets his legs give out from under him. No PK was the right call in my opinion by referee Jaime Herrera. The home team cruised to a 4-1 win, including 2 goals by David Villa. But moments after his second, Villa gets into a challenge with Accam, where the fire forward needlessly goes in 2-footed and studs up on the ball just as Villa was making his way past. I thought Villa had good reason to protest that move by Akam, which I didn't like one bit and would have punished with a straight red. The ref doesn't even call the foul. We saw a red card in Vancouver. It was shown to Whitecaps defender Kendall Waston for dog-so, denial of an obvious goal-scoring opportunity in the 56th minute. And I think that's a good call by referee Baldomero Toledo. Even if there are other Caps defenders around, the next move for the Colorado forward, based on where he's at on the field, is basically a shot on goal. So it's definitely dog-so to me, and the 4th career red card for Waston. The only question for me on this play is whether a penalty should have been awarded, and it was Kevin Guillou on Twitter who brought to our attention that the foul may have happened outside the box, and I think he's right. The definitive contact that brings Badji down is where the legs collide here, and that's just outside the box, but that's a real tough call to make at full speed. Just 5 minutes before that red card, Waston scored a goal off a corner kick, but should the corner kick have even taken place? When I look at the play that led to it, that looks like a foul to me by Jordan Harvey on Colorado's Marlon Hairston along the end line. I would have sent off another Whitecap in this match. On first glance, this collision between Matias Laba and Dominique Badji looks innocent enough. Just two players coming together, right? Well, take another look. I see Laba going in for the kick, and it's off the ball. I would have gone straight red, but Toledo opts for the yellow. To Rio Tinto Stadium, and two first-half clashes in the penalty area to look at. First, in the 40th minute, you see Atiba Harris and DeMar Phillips go down in the Salt Lake box, but the foul is called on the Dallas player, and referee Jair Maruf was right. You see Harris brings his arm across and also clips Phillips' legs. On the other end, it was Olmes Garcia breaking an on goal in the 45th minute, only for defender Walker Zimmerman to come sweeping in for what the referee deemed to be a clean tackle, but I disagree, and here's why. Yes, I think Zimmerman times it well, where his legs are in front of Garcia and in position to block a potential shot, but then Zimmerman's upper body takes out Garcia on the follow-through, and he upends him. That's a foul to me, but Marufo says play on, to the chagrin of both Jordan and Friday on Twitter. There was a first-half incident that had Andy Calderon tweeting at us with his opinion that Luke Mulholland should have been sent off for this challenge on Mauro Diaz. Now, I think it looks a lot worse in real time because when we slow it down, you see Mulholland's two-footed challenge is actually more like a clumsy bunny hop onto the ball than a lunge into Diaz. But Mulholland's feet are on the ground before he collides with the player. I think yellow from Marufo was the right call. Another rough challenge in the 56th minute. This one involves DeMar Phillips on Mauro Rosales, and while I think Phillips wins the ball fair and square, he does foul Rosales on the follow-through. Marufo says play on, but I thought that was a foul. No cards, even with the studs making contact with Rosales. And unfortunately for the Dallas player, he has to come out of the game. We saw a similar play at Red Bull Arena, but this time the defender is Victor Cabrera attempting to clear the ball, taking out Felipe in the process. Similar to the play in Salt Lake, I think foul is the right call, but I'm not convinced about the yellow card from referee Jorge Gonzalez. It was still 0-0 4 minutes into the second half when Hassan Kamara wanted a foul called in the box. And from a distance, you wonder whether it should have been yellow to Kamara for simulation. But this replay angle here shows you that Aurelien Calan had a handful of his shirt, and he lets go just in time not to get caught. Another one being sneaky in this one. Montreal's Hernan Bernardello. The Red Bulls are trying to get the ball quickly to take a set piece, and that's New York's Sasha Kljestan chasing it down and applying a push to get it. But then Bernardello reacts by swinging an arm into Kljestan's head. Both Bernardello and Kljestan get a yellow, but I thought it should have been straight red for the impact player. And on top of that, Bernardello engaged in some simulation with the grabbing of the face, but I don't see any contact made with his face. And then I think there should have been another red card, this one to defender Damian Perinel, who the footage catches cocking and firing an elbow back at Marco Donadel in the box. And after he gets off the ground, Montreal's Italian midfielder does not accept Perinel's handshake. And in second half stoppage time, the Impact had what I thought to be grounds for a penalty when Dax McCarty had his hands all over Matteo Mancosu in the box and prevented him from making a play on the ball. Referee Jorge Gonzalez was right there and did not call it. Gonzalez did not call a stoppage time penalty, and neither did referee Ismael Elfath in Toronto when Josie Altidore and CJ Sapong came together in the box in the 3rd minute of injury time. Although everyone in red was furious, and Altidore even punts the ball away when he doesn't get the call, I thought Elfath got it right when he called the foul against Altidore. You see, Sapong is in motion to shoot the ball, and Altidore just steps in front of him. You can't do that. I'm with Elfath on this one. That's not a penalty. And before we go, let's also hand it to assistant referee Peter Manikowski for absolutely nailing the call on Alejandro Bedoya's goal in the 25th minute. As you can see here, Toronto's Nick Hagglund keeps him on, and Bedoya gives us one of the best goals of the year, his first in MLS. That's all for now. Thanks to all of you for helping us produce the piece as usual via #InstantReplay on Twitter. And until next week for our editor Abner Sevis, I'm Simon Borg. See you next time!